Okay, students, welcome back. Here's part two of the baby naming table. So, at minimum, if you were inserting this in a report, you could probably keep it black and white like this. But a couple things that you would want to do is you would want to obviously maybe bold your title, make it a little bit larger, select a font style that you like. All right. Same thing here. I like the bold column headings. Maybe I italicize it. You have to determine based on the font that you're using and what makes sense. And you can make things a little larger. Your goal really is to balance out any project that you do. And you'll notice if there's something in there that doesn't look right, then you'll fix it. All right. So, for example, if this looks like that, you know that there's something wrong. Now, there are other things on here that we can fix, but right now, again, this is probably in its simplest form. It looks professional at this level. Okay. However, what I would like to do, and I'm going to just go back. I'm just going to edit, undo everything to where we started here. All right. So let me just show you again the one that I did, and it doesn't have to look like this, obviously, but you get the idea. I don't like a lot of color. When I say a lot of color, I don't generally like to do the entire background. Do the entire background in color. You can use some color in different areas, but you could see. I mean, it looks pretty creative and professional. Might be a little, it's maybe the dates are a little bit hard to see, but again, whatever suits you. So this is what, my one version. I have several of them, but I'm going to show you a couple tricks. So I'm going to move this back. All right. So the first thing I want you to do at this point is I want you to just click on the table and click on the tab in the upper left. The tab is again going to highlight everything in the cell. So whatever changes you make in the cell, whether it's the font style, font size, the colors, that will reflect in everything simply because we've highlighted everything. So while you can highlight this like this, you can just click here. So here's the first thing I'm going to do. All right. I'm going to go up to the Design tab. I'm going to highlight everything. I'm going to go to the Design tab. I don't need you to do this part of it. I just want you to watch. There are table styles here. Okay. I rarely use the table styles, and I would prefer you not to use them, but you certainly can look at it and try it out. I mean, they do work. All right. But I would like you to put your own little creative touch in there. I just want to show you a standard type of, table that's often used in the business world. Would be, let's just say something like this. And this works. What you have is, because most things are going to be printed out in black and white, you have, black and white up here to let it stand out a little bit. And then you have what's called a banded line. So every other line is gray, and then it goes to white. And the reason that's quite frequently used is because it's easier on the eyes. So if you're reading row 1, then you can move down to row 2 because it's a different shade. So that's one of the reasons it's used. All right, now that works. However, what I would like you to do is, and you can mess around with it, and I just hit edit undo. What I would like you to do is work it a little bit with your creative style. So here, let's follow me on this at this point. So we're back to where we left off in part 1. I'm going to click this little arrow here, this tab, and I'm going to go up, click the Design tab, and I'm going to go up here. There's shading, there's border styles, there's line styles, there's border painter, there's some things in there you can play around with. But here's the first thing I want you to do. I want you to go over, and I want you to, you'll see that this border icon is highlighted. All right, and I'm going to click the drop down arrow. You're going to see a bottom border, top left. I rarely use that. So when I go over to this icon, I go right down to the bottom, and I go to borders and shading. All right, so again, let me back out. So you're starting up, you click this, you go right to borders and shading, you go down to, borders, you go down to borders and shading, and this dialog box comes up. Okay, and what you're going to do is, and we've used this before when we've been working with, I think it was I think a while ago we were working with shapes or something on this. Now, what I want you to do is, you're going to see that all is selected. So that means that everything here is selected. All right, and I'm going to change the border, so I'm going to go up. I'm going to select the border style. All right, and you could always change this. I'm just going to pick this one here. I'll show you what it looks like. It gives you an idea over on the diagram what it's going to look like. And if you want to cut pieces out, you can do that. But right now, I'm just going to make sure everything is selected. Okay, now the next thing that I'm going to do is I am going to, if I want, I can select a color. All right, okay, and then I could select a width, and I'm just going to make it big just to show you what it looks like, and I'm going to hit OK, and there you go. All right, so that's kind of a, just a different looking type border. If you don't like that, you just go back, you go to borders, you go all the way down to borders and shading, and you just select something different, all right, that works for you. All right, and in addition, if you want to change the color, you have to do it. Actually, you have to change the color before you hit OK, and there you go. All right, now it might be a little bit hard on the eyes, but I'm going to leave it anyway. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to now click inside the cell. All right, so I'll make it a little bit bigger. So I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to go up to shading, and I'm just going to show you how the shading works. All right, and again, if you want to do more colors, you can go into custom and so forth and so on. All right, so if I pick black, you'll see it reverses to the font. It reverses the color, but you can also change that yourself. All right, now if I wanted to change this color, I could highlight it. I can go up to the Home tab, and I could change the color. All right, so you have the ability to do that. You could change the font as well. All right, so under the Design tab, we've looked at, we've clicked up here, we've looked at borders, and we've looked at shading. All right, so make sure that you've done that part of it already. All right, now I'm going to change the font styles, and watch what I do. I'm going to do them all the same just so you can see it. I'm going to click on the tab up here, and this time I'm going to go up to the Home tab. And I'm going to change, I'll pick something else instead of, I'll go to Berlin Sands. So everything on here is Berlin Sands. Even information that I decide if I want to type in a name, it's going to be the same thing. All right, because I've just formatted it. All right. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it again. This time I'm going to go over to the Text Effects and Typography button right here. And I am going to just select something that's on here. All right. Now again, remember, if you want to go up to the Design tab and you want to change your, your color palette a little bit, you certainly can do that. Let's see if that works. Home tab, and there you go. And then you can, get a little bit fancy. All right. So let's see what works. I'll try, I'm just going to pick something. I'll try this. All right. So pretty much there you go. I mean, at this point, what I would do, if let's say I wanted to keep this all the same, I would simply, make this a little bit larger. All right. Because your goal is to balance it out. I would, if you wanted to, I mean, you could go in and, if you decided to put a little shade here, watch, I'll just kind of highlight this. You actually could use, now I'll go back over here. I'm going to go to the Design tab. Let's see if I'll put some black in there. All right, something like that. So you can get fancy with it. All right. What I haven't shown you is how you really stretch these lines out, and there's really a couple ways to do that. But you know, these the spacing here. But I'll show you the easiest way here. So right here at the bottom, you have a little tab, and if you grab it and you move it around, voila, you can, let me shrink this up. You know, you can mess around with it and you can get even more creative. All right, just like that, and you can create a really cool and fancy table. Now what I did at the bottom is I brought a couple pictures in. I already had them in place. I brought a regular picture in, and of course the format tools came up, and I think what I used for this under the picture effects when I brought it in is I think that I used the soft edges. All right, so I'm just going to leave it, and then I take the picture and I put them up, put the baby up here. All right, baby sleeping. Maybe that needs a little bit of work. All right, so you can just play around with it. This probably needs a little bit of work. Fix that up. But all right, then I take this baby picture and I'm going to put this picture behind in this background. Now, how I do this is I have to make sure that there's no color in the background. It's got to be white, and it doesn't matter where you put it. If you want to do it, you know, just don't distort the baby. I mean, I'll start up here and I'll stretch the baby out a little bit from the sides. All right, and that's probably a good size, and I'll just kind of lay them evenly, lay the baby in here evenly. You can always use your arrow keys, and I will send the baby to the back. Let's see if this works, behind the text, and there you go. Looks pretty cool. And then you actually could, when you go, and you should be able to enter text in there when you're ready to enter it in. There you go. All right. Now you might have a problem with the centering, but I'll have to work that with you. And then you can go online and you can research the information to see what the top 5 baby names were in 2005 and the top 5 and 16 for male and female. All right, let me just fix a couple little things up here. I might make this a little bit bigger. Say, again, just a few little changes everything. Okay. And you know, and that's really the part that I want you to kind of look at, and hopefully yours will come out really good. One final thing: if you go up to popular baby names and you hit enter, you can just type your name in there if you haven't done it already. And what I like to do is sometimes I'll just go up and I'll find a font that I like. And usually, let's see if I could find something. All right, make it a little bit smaller. All right, if you want to change the font color, you can do that. All right, I don't know if that did anything there. All right, and there you go. If you have any questions, please let me know. And thank you for watching.